What if a simple lunch turned into a life-changing moment? When Bill Gates sat down with a janitor for a quiet meal, he had no idea the incredible truth he was about to uncover. Stay with us to find out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more inspiring stories. If you're ready, let's get started. The cafeteria was nearly empty, the lunchtime rush long gone. A few employees lingered at scattered tables, absorbed in their meals or scrolling through their phones. At one corner, near the large glass windows overlooking the city skyline, a janitor sat alone, carefully unwrapping a modest homemade sandwich. His uniform, though clean, showed signs of wear. Faded fabric, slightly frayed edges, the kind of attire that had seen years of hard work. He ate methodically, lost in thought, unaware that just a few feet away, a man who had once shaped the digital world had been quietly observing him. Bill Gates, dressed in his signature sweater and slacks, stood in line at the counter, watching as the janitor finished his meal with the quiet dignity of someone used to being overlooked. Something about the moment struck him. Perhaps the solitude, perhaps the quiet determination in the janitor's eyes. Without hesitation, Gates made a decision that would soon change everything. Gates grabbed a tray and selected a simple meal. Nothing extravagant, just enough to blend in. He made his way toward the janitor's table, his presence going unnoticed until he set his tray down across from the man. The janitor hesitated for a brief moment, but continued eating, unfazed. Gates had spent years in boardrooms, giving speeches to world leaders and billionaires, but in this moment, he was simply another man sharing a meal with someone whose name wasn't on the front page of any newspaper. He took in the janitor's tired hands, the calloused fingers that had scrubbed floors, fixed broken fixtures, and kept the massive office space running. There was an unspoken story there, one that hadn't yet been told, and as the two sat in quiet companionship, Gates realized that sometimes the most valuable lessons don't come from books or board meetings. They come from the people who are too often ignored. As the minutes passed, Gates took in the quiet details, the janitor's steady, deliberate movements, the way he neatly folded his sandwich wrapper, the careful manner in which he positioned his utensils. There was a precision in his actions, a methodical nature that suggested discipline beyond mere habit. It wasn't just the work of a man who cleaned up after others. It was the work of someone who understood structure, efficiency, and purpose. Gates had spent his life recognizing patterns, finding talent where others failed to look. And here, sitting before him, was a man who clearly possessed something more than what met the eye. Curiosity sparked within him, and as he observed further, he felt the undeniable sense that this janitor's story was far from ordinary. Gates leaned back slightly, reflecting on the countless executives and industry leaders he had met over the years, brilliant minds who had shaped technology, finance, and global affairs. Yet, there was something strikingly different about the man sitting across from him. This wasn't just someone doing a job to get by. There was an air of quiet intelligence, an efficiency in his movements that spoke of someone who understood systems, someone who thought several steps ahead. Gates had seen this trait before, among engineers, problem solvers, and those who had built things from the ground up. He wondered what had brought this man here, to this cafeteria, to this job that required so much yet asked for so little in return. It was a reminder that intelligence and potential weren't limited to boardrooms or Ivy League degrees. Sometimes, they were hidden in plain sight, waiting to be noticed. Gates took another glance at the janitor's uniform, noting a faint, embroidered name tag that had faded from years of washing. His mind drifted to the idea of how many brilliant minds had gone unnoticed simply because they never had the opportunity to step into the right room or speak to the right person. He had spent decades funding initiatives to bridge those gaps, yet here was living proof that talent, perseverance, and intelligence often resided in unexpected places. The janitor, unaware of Gates's growing intrigue, continued his meal with quiet composure, carrying himself with the same diligence he likely applied to his work. There was no sign of resentment, no trace of self-pity, only a steady, unwavering presence. And in that moment, Gates knew that this wasn't just a man who had taken a job to make ends meet. This was someone with a story worth uncovering. As Gates sat there, the pieces started to fall into place. He recalled the reports he had read on workplace inefficiencies, the unnoticed talents hidden within the very structures that kept industries running. This janitor wasn't just another worker. He was someone who had adapted, learned, and honed skills that went far beyond cleaning floors. Perhaps he had once studied engineering, business, or mathematics. Perhaps life had taken unexpected turns, pushing him into a role that didn't match his true capabilities. Gates had seen it before. Brilliant individuals held back by circumstances rather than ability. With a quiet resolve, he made a decision. This wouldn't be just another meal, another brief encounter. This was an opportunity to change the course of someone's life, to prove that talent, no matter where it was found, deserved a chance to rise. As Gates stood up from the table, he left more than just an empty tray behind. He had already sent a quiet message to one of his team members, instructing them to look into the janitor's background, not to pry, but to understand. If there was even a fraction of truth to what his instincts told him, this man deserved more than the world had given him. Gates had built his legacy on recognizing potential, on investing in people who could make a difference. And as he walked away, blending back into the corporate halls where decisions shaped industries, he knew that this moment, this small, seemingly insignificant act, had the power to alter the trajectory of someone's life. Somewhere behind him, the janitor finished his meal, unaware that fate had just taken an unexpected turn in his favor.